unlike Florida and Texas and places like that, that they have a very small tide and they're not really dealing with all that kind of stuff, their techniques can be very narrow and they're going to work all the time because they're not fishing in waters that are constantly changing. And that's probably one of the most frustrating things as being a beginner fisherman here. Every time I go out, the place looks different. You know, every time I go out, the water is raging. One day I go out, it's, you know, it's calm. It changes all the time here. And so I like to say the only consistent thing about this place is the inconsistency. It is always changing, and therefore you need to be able to adapt to it if you're going to constantly catch fish. You guys have seen this if you've been out here fishing. Very similar creek mouth, classic place to fish. So I drive up to this creek mouth and I say, hey, where's the best place to fish on this creek mouth? I mean, I've never fished here before. First time going in here, what do I look for? Well, if the tide's really moving fast, you got a 7-foot plus tide, or you're in one of the main rivers and that thing's really moving, I'm thinking, okay, how can I pull up to here and fish this most effectively? Okay. First of all, when I'm pulling up to a spot, I look at the sun. I figure out what sun angle I've got, because if the sun is straight at you, you can't see your cork. You get a reflection off the water, and when you cast it out there, it's like, it's in a great spot, but I can't see it because the sun's right in front of me. You need to think about that very first when you pull up to a spot, is what is the sun angle? If it's overcast, that's not a problem, but usually if it's broken clouds or it's bright sunlight outside, I try to look at the glare on the water and figure out what area I'm going to be fishing and make sure that that area is not going to be in the sunlight. You can't always do it, but it's one of the things you want to think about before you anchor a boat. I like to approach a spot if I'm going to start on this corner right here fishing, and I want to, first time ever fishing, I want to go scout it out. I would probably pick using a traditional rig, the big corks with the adjustable rigs on there. I like to get my boat and approach it up current and anchor my boat up above. My boat doesn't look quite like that, but, and that's me smiling. I like to get up above it. What you can do is you can fish this entire bank in one cast. You can make one cast and then fish this entire bank all the way through this rip in one drift. If I fish a spot for 15-20 minutes, that's all I'm going to fish, and I'm going to be done, and I'm going to move on to the next spot. I might come back there at a different tide, but I'm going to mark it off my log and say, hey, this is not the time and the tide that I want to be at the spot if I don't catch a fish. So I'm throwing across, and I'm letting that cork drift out.